The Galactic Military Academy had never failed a single cadet in the Deathworld Survival Exam. Generations had passed with a perfect record. Cadet Instructor Vexera believed nothing would change this year. But when she studied the final roster of the 200 elite trainees, one name made her pause. Tobias Reeves, human, age 19. His psychological evaluation described him as introverted and non-confrontational. His instructors noted he rarely spoke, avoided sparring, sat alone during meals, and blended into the background like a shadow. "That human will not last 6 hours," Karen muttered after reviewing the file. "He has barely spoken 10 words since arrival. He avoids combat. He is unsuited for military duty." Yet the next page of the file held something that did not match the rest. Perfect scores in every written exam. Unusual creativity in tactical simulations. Flawless analysis under pressure. "Perhaps there is more to him than we think," Vexera suggested. "Paper scores mean nothing on a death world," Zarin replied. "The exam will expose him quickly." The dropship released all 200 cadets onto Krell 9. A Class 8 death world infamous even among seasoned warriors. Its predators hunted in coordinated packs. Its plants were toxic on contact. Its climate swung from freezing blizzards to blistering heat within hours. The mission was simple in design, merciless in practice. Survive for 72 hours. Travel to the extraction point. Do it as a team. Tobias landed in his assigned zone, a dense jungle bordering a cave network. Instead of scouting, gathering resources, or joining the other cadets, he slipped quietly into the winding caves and vanished from drone view. His tracking beacon barely moved, a near-flat line of inactivity, while the other cadets formed alliances, built shelters, and searched for supplies. Tobias looked like he was doing absolutely nothing. "The human is hiding," Karen said from the orbital observation deck. "He will starve or be eaten before dawn." But Vexera, watching through her own monitor feed, leaned closer. Something felt different. He wasn't hiding. He was planning in 6 hours of what looked like stillness. Tobias created an interlocking web of traps across the landscape. He located concealed water pockets. He tested plants with careful precision to determine which were safe. He mapped animal trails. Every movement he made was deliberate and efficient. "Not lazy," Vexera murmured. "He is conserving energy and preparing the ground." The drones kept watching. Her fascination kept growing. The first crisis struck 14 hours into the exam. A pack of Krell, Ripper's massive 6-legged beasts with armored hides and venomous claws, cornered 5 cadets against a cliff wall. One of them was Tesh, who had repeatedly mocked Tobias during training for being quiet and withdrawn. "Emergency. Anyone, please," Draw shouted into the comm. "Coordinates 749. We're under attack." Most cadets were too distant or too overwhelmed by their own survival attempts. No one responded, except Tobias. For 30 long seconds, he remained still inside his cave. Then he picked up his handmade spear, stepped into the open, and sprinted toward the danger. "He cannot be serious," Karen whispered. "Those rippers will tear him apart." Tobias reached the trapped cadets in 12 minutes, moving with silent speed through the undergrowth. The Rippers were crouched, ready to strike. "Stay behind me," Tobias called out, his voice steady and commanding, so unlike the silent boy they had known. "When I move, run for the gap in the rocks. Do not hesitate. You're going to fight them alone?" Draw choked out. "I'm going to distract them." There's a difference. What followed would become mandatory study material in Academy military history. Tobias never engaged the Rippers head-on. Instead, he used the environment. He used their instincts. And he used every trap he had set earlier. One Ripper plunged into a camouflaged pit. Another was yanked off the ground by a snare tightened around a bending sapling. A third triggered a deadfall that crushed its legs. The remaining 3 predators charged after Tobias with desperate fury. He ran, weaving between towering roots and fallen logs. He swung across vines to change direction. He stayed just out of reach of their claws, guiding them exactly where he wanted them to go. His trap-laced territory. 2 more Rippers died there. The final beast cornered him against a rock wall. For a breath, it looked like the quiet human's luck had ended. Then Tobias turned, planted his feet, and let out a roar. Not a scream. A challenge. Every observer on board the orbital station froze. The Ripper, bewildered by prey that suddenly behaved like a rival predator, hesitated. In that fraction of a second, Tobias drove his spear into the soft point beneath its jaw weakness he had identified earlier. The monster collapsed. Tobias stood over it, panting, torn and bloodied, but alive. "All cadets secure," he said softly into his communicator. Returning to my position. Reeves out. The rescued cadets stared at him, stunned into silence. "How did you do that?" Draw finally asked. "You never fight. You never even talk." "I'm from Earth," Tobias replied. "We have predators too. My home is rural Montana. My father taught me to track, set traps, stay quiet, and read terrain. You trained in gyms. I trained by not wanting to die. But why didn't you say anything?" Another cadet demanded. "You never asked," Tobias said simply. "You assumed quiet meant weak." The remaining hours of the exam became a masterclass in survival. Tobias coordinated cadets across the region with calm, precise instructions. He taught them which plants they could eat, how to avoid aggressive fauna, how to build shelters that could withstand the planet's shifting weather, and how to move through Krell 9 without drawing attention. When the extraction ship arrived, 198 cadets remained alive, the highest survival rate ever recorded. The only 2 casualties were those who had ignored Tobias's warnings and tried to hunt Rippers for trophies. At graduation, Instructor Vexra pulled Tobias aside. "You achieved the highest score in the survival exam," she said, "yet you rarely speak. Why?" "Talking without purpose wastes energy," Tobias replied. "On Earth, we say empty vessels make the most noise. I prefer to stay full." "What changed during the exam?" she asked. "What made you step forward?" "Nothing changed," Tobias said after a quiet moment. "You all simply noticed me for the first time. I have always been this person. Quiet doesn't mean weak. It means I listen, I learn, and when action matters more than words, I act." He glanced toward the stars. "That is what humans do. We watch, We adapt, and when the moment comes, we strike. ***, let me know your thoughts in the comments. And do not forget to like and subscribe for more stories like this. Thank you for watching.